Hello, fight fans. I'm that boxing writer, Jeremy Harridges, here with boxer and MMA fighter, Clay Collard. Clay, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having, man. Thank you for having me, man. I'm excited to be here.
First of all, I want to ask about your health and how you're doing. I know that you had COVID in October when you were supposed to meet Quincy the first time around. How are you feeling?
Great, man. Honestly, I didn't get sick at all. I had zero symptoms. So I tried to stay moving and grooving as best I could here at home.
Mhm.
I feel like a free. I'm the Terminator right now. So
How long after that did you start training again, or did you keep going, or how was that working out?
throughout the quarantine, I did what I could, push-ups, sit-ups, lunges, burpees here at the house.
Mhm.
And then as soon as the 2 weeks was up, I was back in the gym working. So yeah, it didn't phase me at all, man. I'm like I said, I'm young and healthy, and I just breezed through that. So it was nothing to me, man.
I was kind of going through your combat history, and I thought it was interesting that you had like over 100 amateur boxing bouts. What made you gravitate towards MMA, going pro before boxing?
So I started wrestling when I was about 6 years old, and I was a pretty good wrestler. So I figured if I could wrestle the boxers and box the wrestlers, I'd beat up everybody.
Hmm.
So that was one reason. Another reason is I watched the very first season of The Ultimate Fighter with my mom.
Hmm.
Me and her watched it together, and I told her, "Mom, I'm gonna do that one day." So it's just something I've wanted to do. Mixed martial arts. I wanted to do since I was like 12 years old. So as soon as I turned 18, I think it was a week after my 18th birthday. I was still in high school, and I had my first mixed martial arts fight. So.
As far as you know, looking at the fact that you're a dual sport athlete, do you consider yourself more of a boxer, more of an MMA fighter? Do you prefer one over the other?
I'm a fighter, man.
Hmm.
It's the best way I can explain it. It doesn't matter if it's jujitsu, wrestling, boxing, mixed martial arts. I love combat sports.
Hmm.
It's been a passion of mine since I was very young. So I'm a fighter, man. I wouldn't say I'm one or the other.
Hmm. I know that this year has been difficult for everybody, but you've really been one of the bright kind of spots of this whole thing in the fight game. Your emergence as a boxer, you've got a very loyal following within boxing. How did you get connected with Top Rank and ESPN?
Um, that all had to do with my coach, man.
Hmm.
My coach is an old time boxer. He was really big in the amateurs, and he had all those connections. I started winning fights and beating undefeated guys, and Top Rank called me, and or we called them. I don't remember, one or the other, and they wanted me to fight Kaminsky, and so yeah, we took the fight, and you know been fighting for him ever since. So.
Hmm. Now, I know that with 2021, you've announced, that you're going to be entering the PFL fight season. Was that something that you were contractually obligated to do, or is it something that you wanted to do and transition back into MMA?
So I've always wanted to get back to MMA. It's where I started my career, and it's something I love to do. So I always wanted to go back. I signed with the PFL back in 2019.
Hmm.
Um, and then, I was looking forward to the 2020 season, and then this pandemic hit, and they canceled the season. And so I've just been waiting for that to happen. They were kind enough to let me box, uh, you know, with their season being canceled. And I've had a great year doing that. And when 2021 rolls around, I'm going to be ready to get back into mixed martial arts and go take that PFL belt. So.
As far as 2021 and your expectations, do you see yourself fully devoted to MMA, or do you see yourself kind of rolling in boxing now and again?
Honestly, I think once that tournament starts, I'm signed with PFL. I have a contract with them, so it's solely up to them whether they let me box or not throughout the year. Um, I would like to get a couple more boxing matches in, maybe in January, February, before that tournament starts in April. If they allow me to do that, then I would love that. But it's solely up to them. If they allow me to box, why not, man? I like to stay active. I like to fight. It's what I do. So yeah, I mean, it's 100% up to the PFL. My focus is going to be on winning that belt and winning that $1 million. And that's where my head's at right now. So
I think that it's kind of interesting to see what's happening within the sporting world. I know with Clarissa Shields now jumping into MMA, you're starting to see more of a mixture between the two sports. Do you think that's a trend that's going to continue? And are you excited about seeing that starting to happen?
I mean, it takes a certain kind of person to be able to do both. So I'm sure you'll have your few that can and be successful in both sports. I would like to see it. I mean, we're combat sport athletes, so I don't know about a black belt who doesn't know how to box very good getting into the boxing ring, though. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends on the person and if they're able to do it. I would like to see it more, but yeah, it takes a certain kind of person for sure.
I think it's interesting. I know that the weight difference between the PFL and boxing isn't that big. Do you foresee having any sort of issues making weight within MMA, or are you is it something that's easy for you at this point?
When I was signed with the UFC and cutting to 145, that was pretty tough. At 155, it's a breeze for me, and I feel good. So I can make the weight no problem throughout the year. And right now I'm sitting at I think 166 as of this morning. So, it's not hard to make weight at 155. That extra 10 pounds is a little tough going to 45, but I've done it and it's doable. So I don't see any issues whatsoever cutting weight or making weight.
As far as MMA goes, obviously you're signed to the PFL. What made you want to sign with them and not another combat sports affiliate?
I love the tournament style. If you win, you get the shot. There's not politics. You don't gotta run your mouth. All you gotta do is show up and win. And that's kind of why I leaned more towards the PFL. Also, I mean, at the end of the year, I could be a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? That's always a bonus. So
I would say that's a huge bonus. Going back to boxing here, Quincy Lavalier, you and him have a history going back to your draw in 2019 of June. What were your thoughts on the first fight that you had with him?
Honestly, I thought I did enough to win the fight. We fought over in Louisiana where he's from, and they made a big deal, when he came out about it, him and his coach and everything. And so I thought I did enough to win the fight. I'm sure he thinks he did enough to win the fight, but yeah, I don't know. It was a good fight. He's a tough opponent. He's definitely game, and I'm excited to go. He gave me one shot to collect that O, and so I have my chance to collect his O again, so I'm gonna go snatch that thing.
As far as obviously you've had some tough opponents, including your big win over Kaminsky. Would you say Quincy was your toughest opponent, or would you say not at all?
No. I fought this 18-year-old kid over in Ohio. I won by split decision, and that kid was a gamer, man. I forgot his name, Maurice Winslow III, I believe. That kid was game, man.
Last question. You've jumped up into the top 100 within the middleweight rankings, according to BoxRec.com. I know you kind of started boxing to keep the the income coming. But do you want to take this thing all the way to a title? Is that your ultimate goal?
Yes, sir. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't believe I could win the title. I think I'm one of the best strikers, period. And I want to prove that. So I want to be the first guy to take a both. I want to be one of the first people to take a belt in both boxing and mixed martial arts. So,
well, Clay, thank you so much for joining me today, and best of luck on December 12th when you fight Quincy Lavalier.
Thanks, man. I'm jumping on the plane. So
no worries. Have a good flight.